So on New Year's Eve, or Silvesternacht as they call it in Germany, swarms of Muslim refugees attacked German girls out for the celebrations. In the cities of Cologne and Hamburg and Stuttgart, young Muslim men surrounded German girls and groped them and assaulted them and robbed them, and in at least one case, allegedly raped them. In the city of Cologne, 90 German girls were assaulted. That's how many have complained to police. There were surely more. The Muslim men came in packs. Here's one picture snapped on a cell phone purporting to be of one woman getting sexually assaulted. It was a mob. Now, more than 100 German police were deployed in the city of Cologne to this event, but they didn't stop this. They just didn't. They didn't arrest a single rapist or sexual assaulter. How do you do that? Police estimate between 500 and 1,000 Muslim men participated in this mass crime, but the German police did not manage to arrest even one of them. Not a single one. How do you do that? How do you have 100 police on the scene for hours, 500 to 1,000 assaulters, and you can't even seize one? Even Inspector Clouseau would do better. Here's Wolfgang Albers, Cologne's police chief, explaining.
Wir haben bisher noch keinen Tatverdächtigen, das heißt, wir wissen auch nicht, wer die Täter sind. Das Einzige, was wir wissen, was wir an Erkenntnislagen haben, ist zum einen, dass die Kräfte, also die Polizeibeamtinnen und Polizeibeamten vor Ort wahrgenommen haben, dass es sich dort überwiegend um junge Männer gehandelt hat, im Alter von 18 bis 35 Jahren, die aus dem nordafrikanisch-arabischen Raum stammen.
So not only do they have no one in custody, they don't even have any suspects. Say, do you think that's actually true? Do you think they really don't have any idea who did this? Or do you think that maybe they have made a political decision to have no idea, to not name anyone, let alone catch them? Well, listen to his boss, sitting right next to him, the mayor, Henrietta Recker, and you'll get an idea of why this police chief is so stunningly incompetent. It's the city's official policy. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Or at least if it's Muslim.
Es gibt keinen Hinweis, dass es sich hier um Menschen handelt, die hier in Köln Unterkunft als Flüchtlinge bezogen haben.
Okay, so the police chief just said it was migrants from North Africa and Arabia. You just heard him say that, and you saw him saying that, and literally the next moment, the mayor corrects him and says, nobody better link these assaults and rapes to Muslim refugees. Yeah, got it. It's not just this mayor. It's Germany's justice minister, too.
Das jetzt zum Thema zu machen, über Pauschalisierungen und zu verbinden mit dem Flüchtlingsthema, ist nichts anderes als eine Instrumentalisierung.
Yeah, better not misuse the conversation by talking about what happened. So what should Germany do? Well, you heard them. The first thing all the official people are going to do is to not do anything about Muslim migrants. Germany took in more than 1 million last year and will take in another 1 million this year, almost all young, single, horny men from Muslim societies where they treat women like dirt. So Germany won't do anything about the real problem, but they have to do something. So they'll do plenty about their preferred problem to solve, German women. See, they were just asking for it.
Die Möglichkeit, eine gewisse Distanz zu halten, die weiter als eine Armlänge betrifft. Also von sich aus schon gar nicht eine große Nähe zu suchen zu Menschen, die einem fremd sind, zu denen man kein gutes Vertrauensverhältnis hat. Aber es gibt viele andere Möglichkeiten. Ich habe jetzt leider, sich in Gruppen zusammenzufinden, sich nicht trennen zu lassen. Auch nicht in Feierlaune zu sagen, ich gehe jetzt mal mit diesen oder jenen mit, sondern in der Gruppe, in der man losgegangen ist, zu bleiben.
So there you have it. The mayor of Cologne is calling for a conduct code for young women. Oh, it gets even better. It sounds great in German. Verhaltensregeln für Frauen. Code of conduct for women. They're even going to put it on their official website. Seriously, stay at arm's length from men? Don't go home with men you don't know? Yeah, Mayor, the problem wasn't that these girls were getting drunk and going home with some romantic Syrian hottie who romanced them into his bed. No, it was that these girls were swarmed and punched and kicked and groped and raped These women didn't go home with strangers. They didn't go home at all. They were downtown in the main city square across from the main cathedral and train station, and the strangers attacked them in the streets while 100 cops ran around doing nothing. Oh, well, it's the women's fault. They didn't stay at arm's length from the men. Silly girls, don't you know, if you just stay at arm's length from your attackers, you'll be fine. This is what the left typically calls rape culture. Islamist views about women are the rape culture. If they're infidel women, they're rapeable. If they're not covered in a hijab or a niqab, they're rapeable. In fact, isn't that really what the mayor's calling for? A code of conduct for women to make them less of a target to Muslim men? Yeah, we know about that code of conduct for women that also has special rules for Christians and Jews and gays and other infidels. That code of conduct is called the Quran. It limits women, not men. It limits infidels, not Muslims. This story is huge in Germany, and it will get huger because, as Dr. Daniel Pipes predicted after the Paris Muslim terrorist attacks, as the population moves to the right, the official people move to the left. They go deeper and deeper into unreality just to keep their worldview together. Officials would rather sacrifice German women to the wolves of the streets of Cologne than arrest those wolves, because those wolves are Muslim. And it would be racist to arrest them. Just like the police in Rotherham, UK, didn't arrest the Muslim rape gangs there who systematically groomed and raped 1,400 girls in a city of just 250,000 people over years and years. The police in Rotherham just didn't want to be called racist or even politically incorrect. So women are being sacrificed on the altar of political correctness. Feminists who rage against a whiff of sexism in the West. Oh, he said chairman instead of chairperson. Well, those feminists are silent with mass swarmings and sexual assaults if the perpetrators are Muslim. Oh, and how has our leftist, feminist, Islamist media here in Canada reacted? Well, there was this tiny clip on CBC's The National last night.
In Germany, the debate over migrants is being fueled by a disturbing incident on New Year's Eve. About 90 women have reported being robbed, threatened, or sexually molested. It happened outside the cathedral in Cologne. Today, police say there are no suspects, but they say the men who targeted the women appeared to be of North African or Arab origin. At a demonstration today, some called for less immigration, while others demanded solidarity by all people against violence.
Oh, and that's it. Better than nothing, I guess. And nothing is what was on the CBC's website until this morning when I started tweaking them about their cone of silence on Twitter. They finally put some copy up. So what was that, 30 seconds of coverage total? Compare that to their wall-to-wall coverage of, just for example, you know that group of ranchers who went and had a sit-in at an abandoned wildlife reserve office in the middle of nowhere, Oregon? Just as a comparison. According to the media database Infomart, as of this morning, the CBC television, just the TV side, mentioned that Oregon sit-in 87 times since January 3rd, and literally 414 times on CBC radio. I'm not exaggerating. Now, I'm not saying that Oregon sit-in is not a story. I mean, a couple of ranchers moving into a building they don't own and barricading themselves. I mean, there's no violence, there's no hostages, there's no rapes. It's actually pretty drama-free, but I get it. They're white conservatives with guns who are breaking the law of trespass and talking tough. So the CBC has literally produced more than 500 stories about them on radio and TV, more than 500. But 1,000 Muslim men swarm and assault and rape and rob 90 girls in Cologne, and it gets 30 grudging seconds on CBC TV? Of course. I mean, why would the CBC give it any more coverage than the German media did at first? They ignored it for days. Why would the CBC take it more seriously than the German justice minister or the German police chief or mayor? And the official German response when it finally came, that German women need to stop wearing short skirts, German women need a conduct code. Well, normally that's the kind of thing that would get 500 different stories on the CBC too. Rape, culture, sexism, but only if it were said by a white male conservative, said by a left-wing woman, covering for Muslim migrants in the name of multiculturalism and open borders. Why, that could have come from the mouth of half a dozen CBC reporters themselves. Oh, by the way, Justin Trudeau wants to take 50,000 more Muslim migrants this year. Oh, and he's not vetting them for sexism or other intolerance either. How do you feel about that? If you're like me, you don't want to turn Canada into Germany, let alone Syria. You don't want swarms of assaults on Canadian girls and women either. Go to www.RefugeePause.ca to sign our petition to keep this horror show in Germany and not let it come to Canada too.